Where are we in the two picture?
Homegrown talent has taken over rather than the talent that comes from outside.
So do we have to include the 7 states? And do we have to include Kashmir?
You cannot just brush stroke the entire region and say that what works in a particular area would work in another.
There was a time when insurgency would take the headlines.
The opposite side of Arunachal Pradesh.
NSCNIM has accused the government of India of betraying the trust of the Naga people.
We survived that kind of a disaster. So we are living in a very uncertain times.
The northeast region today can be the epicenter of the new economic world order.
When we talk about sustainability or the green economy, the word sustainable has always been attached to the green economy.
Presentations on venturing to Northeast. You should first take a flight, visit the place,
Right.
and then go back and make the presentation.
Is it tokenism versus real growth? Is it?
At the rate that they're going, in 10 years they're going to overtake the US. I think that's what Donald Trump is really worried about.
What happens after these MoUs is the real story.
There is an intent to go outside and do business there.
When reverse migration happens, it's going to come with a lot of experience and expertise.
Rather focus on Southeast Asian countries.
Export it out.
Yes, that will make more sense.
Why not we change our systems a little bit?
Consciousness of India is a consciousness of only 20 years.
I think for the larger population of the country, Northeast has been a black box.
Why the focus now?
I think our economic blueprint for the next 100 years will be set.
Yes. So welcome to Dialogue with Dipeeka. And Dipeeka, and today you're not just listening to a conversation, you are entering a moment. A roundtable rooted in the land and people of the Northeast, a region often seen as India's edge, but increasingly becoming its front. For too long, the Northeast has been a headline, a stereotype, or a beautiful picture. But beneath that are the industries being built, stories being shaped, and futures being imagined fiercely, quietly, and with deep intent. Joining me today are visionaries who have shaped sectors, hospitality, media, investment, culture, and governance, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Each guest here today brings a legacy of grit, imagination, and a commitment to seeing this region rise not just in data, but in dignity. This episode isn't just about what's being done, it's about what's possible when purpose meets place. So to our listeners, our leaders, our builders, and our dreamers, welcome, and let's dig in and let's begin. So we have with us Mr. Larsing, Mr. Rajiv, and Mr. Rishi. So to start with an ice-breaking question maybe, would be just a simple one. What's the one Northeast thing that got you back to your place? What's one thing about Northeast that brought you back? So, I mean, you're open, there's no sequence here.
Well, when you say got you back, as in got us back to come back to the Northeast and work here, is it? Yeah. So I guess obviously being born and brought up in the region, of course for me, I studied here to class 10 in Shillong. So I had my formative years totally within the region. And I think eventually it was a sense of, a deep sense of yearning to come back and do something to the region. And, be part of its developmental process. I saw Northeast as a greenfield zone where so much could be done, so much of potential, especially in the fields that I was particularly interested in. And of course, to add, being a second generation entrepreneur, there was that yearning to come back and join whatever had been set up and hopefully try and propagate and take it forward.
Great. How was it for you, Rishi?
Since I think fourth standard, I'd been studying outside. I was in a boarding when graduation, etc. I did outside. So I won't be very diplomatic. My whole reason of come back to Guwahati was the business, as simple as that. And it was imbibed in me since childhood, and all thanks to my boss, my father. It was always taught us that you have to come back to Guwahati and take over from where we left. In fact, I was the only one who did not get placed during my college years because I was asked not to sit for placement, because it was very clear, once you're done with the exams, come back home.
Right.
So neither I had an option, nor did I really want to pursue any other career. I really wanted to come back and work here. It's been a long time I've been staying out, so enough. Done.
Right. Dave, as you.
So for me, this is quite an apt question because for years, when I was in the venture as really leading, I was always thinking that I need to relocate to Delhi because it was like Monday to Friday I used to be in Delhi, moving around the country. And there's been so many dialogues in the family that I should actually relocate to Delhi. And then every time I used to meet a friend or a well-wisher, they would say, why you want to come today? You are in a paradise. You know, your family, you are the fifth generation in the state of Assam and being part of Northeast. So that kind of kept on, putting me back in a dilemma that whether I should really look at relocating to Delhi or making Guwahati my permanent base. And it so happened that around 2018, things evolved so much that I could see things happening even when I was sitting in Guwahati. And then that entire dilemma went away, and I continued emotions to be here in the city along with the family. Yes, so that's
So humble beginnings, I would say, and just reason to be back home and just come back, or the perspective of the whole from the fathers or from the family, the vision that came forward. Right. Well, when I was in college, I thought I'll be somewhere in a bigger city or shift abroad, but it so happened something brings you back, and that happens to be at times love. So for me, the reason was to shift back because Rachit and we both were from the same city, and had I not met him, I think I would have settled somewhere far away. But it's for the good, I believe. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So moving on, we see Northeast as how we see it, and the rest of the India sees it in a different way. So what's the biggest gap now?
So, two dimensions to that, if I may opt to answer. I think for the larger population of the country, Northeast has been a black box. So, this we have encountered even when we see how businesses suffer, maybe because there's an issue in one state and the entire region, getting marred because of that. So, a lot of efforts are needed to break this narrative of the black box when it's, on the negative side. And the unity of Northeast has actually helped India build a strong narrative for the Northeast. But at the same time, the states, they should really market their potential so that the larger population of the country know each state very well. This is what I feel.
Yes, often Northeast is taken as Northeast region as a whole. We talk any thing, it's Northeast as together. And somewhere the identity of each state is coming together. At the same time, is it that the identity of each one needs to become very distinct? Anything?
I'm of the opinion that the whole word Northeast
Yes.
for a government initiative or when the government talks, clustering 8 states and giving a word Northeast, labeling it Northeast, perfectly fine. To drive government initiative, for example, connect railway connectivity to Aizawl, which is will take place in maybe a week or 10 days time, which is happening, which has never happened. So for that blanket policy making, it's fine.
Right.
Airport connectivity, railway connectivity, road connectivity, etc. It's fine. But when you look at it as a business, you cannot treat Northeast as one unit. These are 8 separate units. It is as complex as Delhi versus Rajasthan, Rajasthan versus Uttar Pradesh. It's as complicated as that. And why I'm saying complicated, I don't mean issues. I mean to address each state differently. For example, I work for a media organization which deals in only regional languages. If tomorrow I start a newspaper, Northeast Pratidin, you tell me one thing, a person sitting in Dipeeka, is he interested in what's happening in East Khasi?
May not be.
A person sitting in Aizawl, is he interested in what's happening in Shillong?
No.
May not be. Unless it's of a national interest, unless it affects that person. So if I have to start a media business in any of these states, I have to go regional, I have to have different names for every business. For example, me. He has a beautiful hotel in the center of God. He is serving Assamese thali there.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Is he serving Assamese thali in Center Point? I believe not. Presumably. Because it's here in Assam.
Yes.
The whole essence of Shillong you can find in the Guwahati address. It's beautifully done up. But he has retained that Assamese flavors. You'll see few paintings here and there. You'll see the food. He is bringing in food from Northeast. But the prime focus may be Assamese.
Yes.
Similarly, so when you go to each and every state, you have to open up to different type, adapting to a different type of culture. And if any business doesn't adapt to that culture, it becomes very difficult to, work. I can have a brand ambassador, an Assamese brand ambassador here. That might not work in Manipur. Why will it work in Manipur? So keeping it as a blanket, I really don't agree, especially for businesses. For government, it's okay.
Noted.
That's my point.
Yeah, I think that question is relative. Rishi's point is totally correct. I mean, what he mentioned that, from a media perspective, what makes sense in a particular part of a region may not necessarily gain traction in another. So, yes, Northeast being classified as a region, I guess, of course, it has to be, but even from a political perspective, it is important that as it is, we're just approximately, 7% of India's population. We're about, or rather 7% of geography and 4% of population. So if you look at it from a political perspective, it makes sense that it be classified as one, and try and build in the unification so that there is a common synergy towards fighting for a regional
Growth.
requirement and cause.
Right.
From a media perspective, obviously language plays a big role, and what one speaks in a particular area may not obviously make sense in another. So that explains in a way the uniqueness of the region. In one sense, there is a lot of uniqueness. In the other sense, there's a lot of eclectic differences in terms of communities and languages and so on and so forth. We really are a cultural hotspot. For that matter, Assam could be one of the most unique states, and a state which is really got so many different cultures within a particular geography. It's practically a mini India of sorts. And coming to the tourism part of it, where I would like to perhaps address, I think what Rishi has mentioned is totally correct. That's the way we look at it as well. That trying to be a business house that is trying to build a circuit within the region. So far, we've been lucky to have started our bases in Meghalaya and now moving into Assam. Yes, with the Guwahati address, as Rishi's mentioned, our objective was totally to celebrate Assam and build in that local, flavor and culture, and celebrate the city, the region, and the culture and the flavor of the state and its people. Also, the fact that it is in a locality which was largely residential turning commercial, so it still had a different sense to the vibe of the particular area. And but yes, we also tried to bring in a bit of regionalism in that. So within the little space which is very much in the center of Assam, we've tried to also give the customers a sense and a flavor of what they can see as they move towards the larger northeastern region. So I think understanding the diversity of the Northeast, and at the same time understanding the importance of at least trying to balance things so that what can synergize remains, synergize, would be a good way of trying to, go about things.
So I hear a few things here. I heard few numbers. During, of course, Centrepoint Group is in 5 states in hospitality sector.
We are actually, Centrepoint Group, we are operating in 5 states.
Operating in
But
5
that's
states.
because we have 3 different verticals. We have a hospitality vertical, we have an infrastructure vertical,
Yes.
and we have a retail vertical.
Yes.
So when it comes to hospitality and when it comes to infrastructure, we're available in 5 states. In hospitality, as of now, in 2 states, and similarly with retail. But as a group, we are operating in 5 states.
Right. So the business perspectives, like Rishi mentioned, that every business now needs to operate differently in every state. Would you bring something to the table? Would you like to dig in deeper, that for the nation to know that it's different to do business in 7 states? 7 or 8? Are we 8? Sikkim, 8 states.
So we are 7 east of the chicken neck or whatever it's
And
called.
Sikkim now.
And then Sikkim, which is just broadly northwest of that
Yes.
particular Siliguri corridor. So I think for the purpose of maybe governance, it was 7 + 1, 8. And so you're definitely. I think anyone who's doing business in the region has to understand the fact that every state has its own complexities, has its own different flavors. You cannot just brushstroke the entire region and say that what works in a particular area would work in another. Topography-wise as well is different. Language-wise also it is largely very, very divergent as you move from one part to the other. But there are at the same time a lot of inner sensibilities that remain common. And I think that generally happens because of geography and long-term civilizational, reasons of, people living within a particular area tend to, have some sort of a larger, similar, broad culture in that sense. So, but yes, I think if we were to give advice to people, they should understand the topography of where they are looking at doing their business, and accordingly, plan their investments and operations accordingly.
Right. Rishi,
Before making their presentations on venturing into Northeast,
yes.
they should first take a flight,
Yeah.
visit the place,
Right.
and then go back and make the presentation.
So visit every state per se.
If you want to do something in Mizoram, you should travel to Mizoram. Why not? There's a direct flight
So
from
now,
Delhi.
so now Mr. Ambani says he wants to put in 75,000 crores. Mr. Adani says he wants to put in 50,000 crores. The challenges are bigger than just those numbers. And I mean, what would you say in terms of the policy making. We hear that there's just a blanket policy that we hear. Any policy name is based on the NER more or less.
So I think to answer this, the macro numbers always looks exciting, but as Rishi rightly pointed out, that when you go state to state and when you're talking about these investments, you need to go district to district.
Yeah.
So I'm sure their good offices must have already visited and done the detailed study so that they're motivated to announce those numbers. We would be happy to see them thriving here so that the ecosystem becomes bigger and better for India.
So how is the context here when we hear that as northeasterners, from this part of the country, to the national news being announced with the advantage Assam and rising northeast, and what is your context? Is it tokenism versus real growth? Is it why the focus now? I had some numbers where we are at a CAGR of about 8 since 2015. We are our GSDP is approximately 9 lakh crores, whereas for Maharashtra it's 40 lakh crores. For West Bengal it's 20 lakh crores. So, and even if we grow at a higher percentage of CAGSR, what are we left with, or of GSDP, state-wise gross domestic outputs or products? What are we really looking at? Percentage-wise, the numbers look, impacted, but the real stories is, where are we in the true picture?
So, I think the picture as it stands today, I mean, I had already discussed this earlier in a different platform. It's very clear that when you mention Ambani's have to invest huge amount, Adani's are planning to invest so much amount, you mentioned the word tokenism. I don't think it's tokenism anymore. I think it's very, very clear to the world, especially the economic world, people in industry, that the northeast region today, which was earlier the backwaters of the country, frontier as we were mentioning earlier, is definitely no longer the frontier. Rather, it is going to front and be the epicenter of the new economic world order. And this is where we are today. I mean, if you look north, just ahead is China. They are currently a second largest economy, $17 trillion. And at the rate that they're going, in 10 years, they're going to overtake the US. I think that's what Donald Trump is really worried about. That's why he's thinking out of the box and doing whatever he's done. But anyway, that's a separate thing. On the other side, east of the northeast is the ASEAN. We've always spoken about the look east policy. Today it's the act east policy. Very much so, I think the time has come. The pivot has changed. The east is going to be the future of the new world order. Our Prime Minister has mentioned this in the past. And the interesting thing here is that the Indian economy, which today is number 4, we're just behind Germany, at about $4.23 trillion GDP, is actually neck and neck with an economy which is not really in that list of rankings because it is not a country, which is the ASEAN. So the ASEAN region together is also around the same amount as the Indian economy. Okay. So what makes it very interesting is that the 3 largest and fastest growing economies of the New World Order is the ASEAN to our left, the Indian economy as a whole, of which the larger part is towards our west, the mainland. If you're looking at it from a specific northeastern geographical context, and you have north of us China, which is also one of the largest market economies of the world, besides being one of the fastest growing. So in this entire middle, we're really in the fulcrum. And with connectivity improving, I think it opens up a tremendous opportunity for Northeast now placing itself as a unique economic zone for growth. Geographically, if India is to take the advantage, remember we're also competing countries with China, and so far we are supposed to be in some sort of economic collaborative space or strategic collaborative space with the US. The way things are going in the global order, things might change every now and then. But as things have been building, it's the India and US combined that has to strategically work together to build a synergy with the ASEAN, in order to compete with China. So that's the importance of where we are, and it is important for Indian industry to come in. They know the strategic importance from a nation building perspective. They also understand that there is a lot of opportunity in investment. No industrial house would mention such numbers if they weren't really, really interested, because there's a difference between charity and real investment. I think what they're talking is real investment. And so in that regard, I think Northeast is in a very, very unique scenarios of today, and it is up to this a whole region and all of us to understand that and take advantage of it, and hopefully see better. I hope that we see a better 20 years going forward.
It's better 20 years. Is that a comparison? I don't know. I'm leaving it open-ended. Now, as a little girl or as a common man, trying to figure that, okay, so many MoUs got signed, okay, there were so many government to business initiatives being taken, where Finance took a very leading role as a partner agency in Rising Northeast. We had nearly 50 HNIs entrepreneurs, 50 eminent HNIs from Finer who also went to the summit. A lot of, I think approximately 11 discussions happened across industries, where about logistics and infrastructure was being led with you also on a panel. MoUs were facilitated, B2B, B2G engagements, everything that we talk about. I went through each and every report. I skimmed through the report on the Finer, on the Rising Northeast website. And I noticed two things they would have mentioned at the end of every project: the policies and investable projects. And then they would mention how many MoUs would have got signed by now, and every media nationally is talking about it. So many MoUs, so many this happened, that happened. Now, what happens after these MoUs is a real story. I don't know as a common man, or maybe I need to know more, a little more. So, if a layman were to understand what happens after these MoUs, or what is the true picture, when will we be ready to calculate and reverse calculate that what we charted out is working out or not? Anything you would like to add there?
See, these events are usually organized by Government of India or Government of Assam. So since they organize it, they might definitely have a more qualified standard of tabulating how many MOUs signed, what's the valuation of that MOU, etc., etc., and the employment opportunities it will create in X plus years or whatever it is. For a layman to feel or see whatever investment summons happened, to feel the difference, it is too early to comment on that. Everything is fine. They have signed good MOUs. Some big investments, as Mr. Adani and Ambani is very keen on investing here. Now we have to see how they materialize. Once you start seeing them, then you can start the reverse calculation, and by the nature of any business, you cannot, I feel you cannot see that in next 12 months or 18 months. It takes time. If today also I announce I will invest 10 crores in XYZ, I'll have to go back to the drawing board. I have to start calculating where am I investing, what am I doing. For example, if I wish to put up a hotel in Guwahati or anywhere, for a 5-star hotel, it's straight away 89 crores I'm spending. If 5 years I have to maintain that, so another 20-30 odd crores. So I can sign an MOU for 90 crores. But to see that hotel coming up, it will take you 3-4 years, right?
Yes.
In these 3-4 years, given the world uncertainty, where India is headed, are we, God forbid, if COVID hits back again, this 3 years will take 6 years. God forbid, it's something happens at the border. If something happens with US and China. So we are living in very uncertain times. we have seen enough, at least this generation of people. We have seen COVID, we have seen plane crashes, we have seen accidents happening daily. So continuously there is a derailment of the, when a businessman invests, he invests in a positive mindset. If the mindset is not positive, he will not invest. So whenever he recovers from a negative thing, something else happens. Again, something else is happening. So there is some kind of an uncertainty in the air across India. I'm not talking about Northeast. So people might invest, might not invest. It might take more than 3 years to, materialize the MoUs. It might take more than 5 years. But one thing is for sure, so the wheels are moving.
The wheels are moving.
That is 100% sure. And that is more important. Something is happening, wheels are moving. What materializes and doesn't materialize, I don't know. It's too early to comment on that. That's my personal opinion.
Our hospitality partner for this Roundtable podcast has been The Vault. It is an exclusive place for businesses to happen, for masterminds to come together, and for the ones rare who envision to be a part of something unique. The Vault is for you. We will mention more about the Vault and what it has to offer in a moment.
Hi, I'm Chef Prithvi. I'm the curator of F&B at The Vault. The Vault is located in the heart of Guwahati, and we aim to provide an exquisite and private experience for each of our members. We are located in Teramaya, Guwahati, and The Vault comprises of very specific intimate zones that we'll walk you through. The Vault bar is where cocktails are crafted to perfection, tailored to each of our guests' preferences. The cigar lounge is where you unwind and relax, and the locker and spirit wall where all your spirit and the bottles are stored. We always say that there are places that are remembered and then there are places that transform. Welcome to The Vault.
So this center has made the plan. All the bodies are working together in the direction. I also read that for the employment level, we are ready to get employed from the region in the middle and the lower level only. The expert technicals, nevertheless, in the initial beginning will come from outside. And that is also should be an area or would be an area of our lookout or concern, that we need to build our ecosystem of employment in a manner that the youth is traversing away. Even in the hospitality industry, we always, anytime I'm in Delhi or Mumbai and I happen to look around and I go and talk to one of my servers and I ask them, which city are you from? And then I strike a conversation, okay, I'm from Guwahati, and they happen to serve me better. But then I wonder, they all are there, when would they come back? And are we ready in terms of employment to go a notch higher?
So, with some exposure on having a management team operating the different SBUs, the movement of talent between cities and states, interstates, is a very common phenomena. So you will see large population of South Indian intellect working in Mumbai and Maharashtra for years and decades. I think this is one place where the talent needs on-the-job training, they need exposure, and they need to come up, the value chain with certain progression in their career. We should not be worried about that. The whole idea is that I really invoke on what Ming is saying. Our homegrown entrepreneurs, when these events are investing in building a positive mindset, how are they encouraged to take that element of risk? This potential has been here for years. Maybe there has been, times when the situations of law and order has been very poor and the investor confidence was very low. But then when the new normal is keeping everyone satisfied, yet people are in the comfort zone, these events help you channelize, your risk-taking ability and making it smoother. And we do run a few hospitality properties where a lot of homegrown talent has taken over rather than the talent that comes from outside. And that's totally fine. They all learn with each other. They all have great, I'll say, spirit, teamwork. And it should continue because that's what we want our children, our brothers and sisters, and our friends to go out and enjoy the success in a state like Maharashtra or in a state like Karnataka, where they can be very successful professionals or even abroad. So I think that's okay.
So your question was very, very good one. Essentially, I think we require different sorts of investments, different sorts of different sorts of investments, different sorts of sectors that need to be focused on. And very, very correctly, I mean, a very, very important factor is to also focus on sectors where the general population would be naturally employed. And obviously tourism is one space that is open for that. And the moment that space opens up, there's obviously going to be reverse migration. And that would work to our advantage because, you see, if people have been moving out of the region for the last decade or so,
Yes.
it also means that we are gearing ourselves from a human resource perspective towards offering better standards and services as and when these investments do come in, as and when more local stakeholders invest. Because when reverse migration happens, it's going to come with a lot of experience and expertise, which will again help the industry. So I think focusing on industry which will generate maximum amount of employment amongst stakeholders is a very, very important thing, which government I'm sure is aware of. Also from a business perspective, any entrepreneur would like to invest in areas where you'll find natural human resource. That is one. Definitely in areas where you need investments, both in terms of scale as well as human resource of a level which may not necessarily be in abundance in the region, we should also welcome that because you see there are big ticket investments which bring in a huge amount of revenue for the state. And when the state gets that revenue, then it gets plowed into social sectors, infrastructure sectors. It's only when you have so much of funds that you can bring in more funds. Right, so even from a government investment perspective, because Government of India is going to give you a certain amount if you can bring in a certain amount. So therefore, the high value investments are important. The high generating investments are important because they also create parallel economies and ecosystems around that investment. So it's a question of how we structure and invest in different lateral, spheres of the economic ecosystem.
Right. So what does media has played a role in shifting hospitality? So when there was a time when insurgency would take the headlines to now when the times have changed and shifted, how do you see media taking role in this shift?
See, I am from Assamese media, so if everyone uses the term northeast, so you can treat it as northeast India. I have nothing in the other states, it's only Assam. But still. So, in my opinions, media shapes the perspective. And for the longest time, the national media gave a perspective of some kind of an uncertainty to Assam. We were clear, we were risk-free long ago.
Yes.
But because of their high-headedness, we moved back 5 years. Because of their perspective, nothing else. Look at this Meghalaya incident, if I may to mention. Whose fault was it? What did national media do? They still live in that mind block. It's easier to blame the Northeast. They still have that mind block. Look at the headlines, then you can usually say that they still have that mind block. That udhar hua hai to ye hua hoga. It's not correct. That if this big journalist sitting in Noida thinks that things work this way, that is not correct. No? So it is because of their fault, national India's fault, that Northeast moved 5 years back. They put forward the wrong perspective. After that, when the central ministry started, the donor, etc., there was a lot of frequent visits from the union ministers and in the previous governments also. Then slowly the things changed. The perspective.
Yes.
But ground में पहले से ही सब ठीक था.
Right.
The perspective changed 5 years later. So it was media's fault, I would rather say. As media, we whatever we could do in our ability, we did. But because of the language barrier which we had, we are an Assamese media newspaper or Assamese channel, whatever limitation we had, we did put forward the things. And because of this, we have a property which we do in Delhi. It's called the Contract. Last thing had been a part of it in the first edition. We try to bring in speakers from all across the country and speak for Northeast. Now for Northeast, I'll tell you what Northeast means. In the first edition from Meghalaya, we had him representing the tourism. There was something on the business front. So he spoke on the tourism part. On the third edition, or the second edition, I would rather say, we had a representation from the Shillong Times. We had a Manipur MP, Bimal Akoijam was there, he is a congressman, but from Manipur. From Meghalaya, we had the Meghalaya Chief Minister himself. This year, we are trying to get someone from Mizoram. So you have to listen to everyone to give them a... From Arunachal, we had Kiran Rijiju speaking. So, if we bring those people in Delhi, in the power corridors of Delhi, and the national media is there to cover it, it helps in the perspective war. So that's what, this is our limitation. We cannot go beyond that. I cannot set up a channel overnight in Delhi. But unfortunately, some men of the soil were the ones leading this campaign of defaming Meghalaya. It's very unfortunate. But that's what's the truth is. He apologized, but still, perception for this is the tourism time for Shillong. You can go through the numbers whenever you have.
Right, and
It's not matter.
And to add to that, Mr. Larsing already mentioned that June looks very bleak in Shillong, unlike how it used to be a peak season. We are seeing the influx of tourists go down already.
True.
15 years back, when I was in college, approximately 17, 18 years back, and I stepped into my MBA college, I made new friends. One of them was from Cochin, I believe. I told her I'm from Guwahati. Guwahati? I said, Assam. Oh my God, is it safe there? And this was her expression. I was like, it's totally safe. Please, do come, do live with us. And this was 17 years ago. I don't know how it would have shifted now. I would have to ask some college students perhaps that, are you being shocked upon? And of course, I must agree, when I mention someone Guwahati when I'm traveling, they think, okay, where is it? Which state does it belong to? And that's a state right now. And I actually don't like it when someone's in the washroom would be like, okay, Guwahati, and then I have a question. And then I have to, why do I have to tell you where is Guwahati? You should know it as a nation. You should know it as a nation. What is the Northeast region? Every part of it. People not knowing enough about us. In a perspective, do we want to be known? I mean, do we really want to be the kind of lives that the rural of the Northeast lives? It's very, very pristine. To see some corners in the Meghalaya would be like, why do I go to Europe? I rather live here. And the other option, the other opinion being, the other sound maybe, or the voice maybe, why do they not know about us? What's your take on those lines?
I feel we are, as Northeasterns, I would say, we are equally responsible for, so if that's basic geography, so if they don't know, if I know what's the capital of Uttar Pradesh, then they should also know what's the capital of Assam or Meghalaya or any other state. But to get into the details of it, what I eat, how I dress, what I wear. So it's like I don't know maybe half of the festivals of Goa. So you cannot presume that they should know about these. That's incorrect. Now, if I go to Goa, I might not like the sea fish. I might be allergic to sea. So I might say, kaise kha sakte ho? Easily they can also say that for akhuni. It smells, it stinks. So it's a harmony. Obviously, there are more North Indian restaurants in Guwahati. No doubt. Because it's a more, like Hindi, it is more accepted everywhere across the country. So North Indian restaurants are, in every smallest of the restaurant, they'll be serving something North Indian. Because that's easier to sell, or however, it's more easily accepted. But India is a very diverse, culturally rich economy. In Northeast itself, Mizo food is completely different than that of Khasi. And similarly, Assam food is different to Arunachali food. Do I know what Arunachal celebrates? Then how do I expect the Arunachali to know when is Bihu celebrated? So how aware are we, instead of questioning people from Delhi or Bombay?
Yes.
If they tell us, I am from XYZ district of Maharashtra, can you pinpoint on the map where is the beat district? So they might not know. It's okay. But it's okay to educate them also.
Yes.
Basic geography to pata hona chahiye. Uske beyond details mein, if someone is saying that is they're unaware, so that's not correct. But zyada details nahi pata ho to it's okay. We have to accept. That's why they travel, right?
Right.
Yeah, two elements here. One is, of course, I don't believe in this concept that, we should crave attention and wait for someone to speak about the region or why they didn't speak and so on and so forth. There's a lot of this sometimes narrative that goes that national media does not pay enough attention, so on and so forth. While it is important for a national media to reach out to every nook and corner of the country, I think somewhere there has to be newsworthiness as well.
Exactly.
Okay, unfortunately, most of the time the newsworthiness has been on the negative front, be it the socio-political issues of the region over the last so many years. But, in this entire thing, we are an ancient civilization. Bharat as a civilization is ancient. India as a country is only 78 years old. So, in that context, we've also gone through a huge amount of evolution. I think each one of us in this room, while we may consider ourselves young, in some way we're also very senior. Especially in the, not me.
I prefer
I stay out of this. So, from a demographic perspective as well, we are an extremely young country.
Yes.
65% above or below the age of 35. 50% of this country was born in the last 20 years. That's why I refer to the 20-year factor. So, the consciousness of India is a consciousness of only 20 years. So, the India of 25 years and 30 years back and the India of today is also vastly changing. So, that narrative of not understanding, not knowing is also a pre-social media digital era. While it still does exist, I think over time we're going to cross those barriers. Because the country has opened up, transportation is easier, knowledge is disseminated by the second, and the young India is a far more adventurous India or an Indian than the past of what we have. That I think we can see in the way our movies are being produced, the way the youth generally act, and also you will also see that the reason why Northeast tourism is going to go to the next level is because there is no land as beautiful as the Northeast in other parts of the country. I mean, I have to boldly say this. Because what we have here, it doesn't exist in any other part of the region. I mean, other parts have got beautiful monuments, great culture, beautiful coastlines. But what the Northeast has, the rest of the country largely doesn't have. You know, and this is where things are going to open up. That's where the actual trekkings happened. People are going in for, you know, unique destinations. They're being more adventurous. So I think Northeast is going to be a talking point more than ever in the years to come. Earlier we had to say Assam tea, because what people knew was actually tea. You know, and very few people knew that the oil also came from here. You know, but tea was a talking factor. I think we've gone beyond all that, and as time goes by, it's going to change. We are definitely a world in fast evolution and pace, as we can see. And I think a nation in huge evolution. So every week of today was a month of the past. A year of today was a decade of the past. So I think in that sense, I'm looking at it in a positive way. I feel that also it depends on the region to really rise up to the occasion and allowed to be heard, which I think we are now more ready than perhaps earlier. You know, so I think that's the way I look at it.
With respect to policy making, it's like the taxations are different now in other states and different states.
So there's an interesting perspective to that, which was there always, right? But when we started handling these startups as a committee, I was leading it in FINER, we came across during our outreach programs that many of these startups are doing very innovative businesses, but they could not invite private capital, largely because they wanted to remain tax-free. You know, so your advantage. So there's a saying: your strength becomes your weakness. You know, so here the strength of being tax-free became the weakness when you had to go, you know, to invite private capital and scale your business, and we could do nothing about it. And we worked around with NEDFI, we worked around with other policymakers, and then they were like, okay, they may not be the low-hanging fruit of the startup ecosystem. Let us first cater to the low-hanging fruit of the startup ecosystem. So from the traditional business point of view, I think it has been serving the larger population of the hill states to be a tax-free, zone for the individuals in the individual capacity. But yes, now going with what flow of discussion we are doing, we are voicing equally to anyone else speaking from the other city of the country. You know, if somebody in Chennai speaks on some matter, someone in Mizoram or Nagaland can almost match to that level of intellect, because most of our children have studied out and then they have come back to their roots. So this last 20-30 years, a lot of academics has happened for the Northeast boys and girls outside the region, and then they have come back. So that also in a way bridges this gap of intellect, you know, and some have worked outside and then they have come back. So maybe building a space tech startup in Northeast today sounds a little difficult, but going forward, startup being an innovative space, somebody can do it, sitting in Mizoram, sitting in Arunachal. So yes, we have to work our way around the tax reforms for these kind of cases. And then there are even incentives given to investments that the private sector brings to the Northeast. There is a very progressive scheme called Unnati, which has been launched by Government of India. And this is again a great opportunity for the MSMEs and the homegrown entrepreneurs to invest in the thriving sectors across the region. But yes, I think we can learn from all these evolving scenarios.
So from being spoken about as highly literate states, our literacy rates have been always very good. I think since my childhood I've been seeing that. And now we are talking about from being very literate to being intellect enough, or having that entrepreneurial spirit enough to thrive our startups. And we would need some reforms in those policies to somewhere. Got that. To move from there, if you were not in this sector, I would have started a revolution in which area? We'll start from Lasing. If you are not in this sector.
Agriculture.
Agriculture?
I was started in agriculture because my whole aim in life eventually is to become a farmer. Not for anything else, but because I think we've all gone through it. You mentioned COVID and the spectre. You're being very realistic in saying that, you have to also look at the things that can happen, right? The uncertainties. We had COVID, we had many issues, especially in the region, which is got 98% of our boundaries international. So in a lot of ways, there's a lot of other play. There's always been there, right from inception. But I think what the last 5-6 years has taught me personally is that it made me kind of research and understand agriculture and the roots of agriculture a little bit better. And it amazed me to see that practically almost 98% of whatever we consume is in some way got some sort of fertilizer or chemical intervention, which is crazy. So just from that perspective, if I was not in this sector, I would love to be a farmer. I'd love to be a farmer doing organic agriculture, which, by the way, I personally believe the Northeast has a huge advantage of, because most of our lands have not been touched by the Green Revolution of the last 30 to 35 years, where all these huge fertilizer companies came in. In fact, we have ministries on
I
fertilizer.
hope they are not listening.
I seriously don't understand why we have ministries on fertilizers, because for me, the beginning of healthcare is actually agriculture. Okay. Because what we consume eventually determines our outcome. So yeah, if I was not whatever I'm doing in, I'd love to be a farmer.
Okay.
I still will try.
Sure. How about you?
I really haven't thought of anything. So maybe if not into media, I will come back to media with more money so that I can revolutionize. To revolutionize the media, you need a lot of money. So maybe reborn with more money.
Reborn with more money. Let's set the intent and manifest that for you. And how about you?
So I frankly love being in business. So I am very sector agnostic, and thanks to the different businesses in the group, it keeps helping us grow the learning curve. So very happy with the buoyancy the region is enjoying in tourism. And yes, so sector agnostic, but being in business really keeps my serotonin and all the good hormones high.
Right. Got that. Would you want me to answer that?
Yes, Dipeeka.
One side of me, when gets tired of all the hustle and the overstimulation around me, I think, why would I not be born in the era of Mozart and just live there? Enjoy the slowness of life, or in the era of Einstein when he would just spend spare afternoons. I have no spare afternoons. One side of me thinks about that. The other, more practical side of me thinks that I would want to be in a more aggressive business environment right from when I was an early teen. I see my girls to be groomed like that, in a manner that why not get into a sphere where you're already a business tycoon before you're getting married. And I really see that as a future of India. When I went to China some years back, I saw every woman is working, and I would have read numbers in schools. And then that's true. If the women population in India also starts taking part, the percentage wise, if we contribute more to the economy, there's a huge scope there. A lot of our women folk in India are contributing in their spheres and are actually unpaid because they work hard morning till evening. why not we change our systems a little bit to that the responsibility is nurturing and our everything remains same. We share a little more responsibility, and women are also taking more active roles in businesses, in offices, in every area. Policy making.
Very nice.
I think Northeastern policy should take a leaf out of what you just said. And the urban areas should be all about aggressive industrialization, development, and hustle and bustle and enterprise. And the rural areas should just be left to its pristine nature, easy, calm lifestyle, lovely folk music, or classical music, as we may say, and
Serenity by the lake.
and preserve that, because in this highly developed global space that we live in, I mean the planet as a whole, finding such spaces is going to be a huge difficult situation, and maintaining them even more difficult. So if we can manage that, I think our economic blueprint for the next 100 years will be set.
Yes. To bring back to the point, we have had, our states are more progressive when it comes to women taking care of the businesses. In Meghalaya, it's the women who is more powerful. In Assam also, women take a leap in running the rural households. And likewise in Manipur also. So we should say that these are some qualities that are unique to us, which is not easily found in the rest of the country.
That's correct, and I would also like to mention, recently being to Mizoram, I was astonished not to see a single rapper on the streets.
Single rapper. The waste.
Single waste. Not even a dry leaf.
Why is Indore in the top cleanest city?
I have no idea. My hotel was 1.5 hours away from the city. Half an hour extra because it was a school off time. Not even once my driver honked, nor I was honked on. It is as narrow lane as that Shillong का वो central area. 2 lanes only. उसी के बीच में ट्रक भी पार्क है, उसी के बीच में cars are going, coming, no honking. And also to my surprise, I was having breakfast and it has a glass facade और नीचे वो main road था उनका, kind of a GS road उनका, which is more the commercial area. So these green color vans which we get now for the garbage pickup, so what generally happens is, our business establishment, we put it outside. These guys come, they lift up the garbage and they start moving. So usually whole process is the driver and his helper oriented. Our job is to take out the garbage and keep it outside, correct? There, he parked the car in the middle of the road. All the business shop owners, they came out with the black thela. They climbed that up and put it inside. Okay. With people wearing full formals and all.
Yeah, so that's humility.
This is education.
Yes, this is education.
No wonder they are 100% literate. And I had met few politicians there. He was driving around in one car. No pampu, baja, police, nothing. One car, one PSO is sitting in the front, driver is driving, he is sitting in the back. No tamjam, nothing. It was a beautiful experience to be there.
My father-in-law mentioned 5 years ago, or maybe even far behind, he happened to visit Aizawl in one of the government offices and he was astounded. I was like, oh my God, how clean was the government office. And when we think of government offices, we think twice before entering them. You know, lift hoga ki nahi, stairs se jana hai ki nahi, clean hoga ki nahi. We have seen a lot of changes. There have been shifts. And to talk about this almost a decade ago, about Aizawl, about Mizoram, that you should see the site. It's beautiful. It's lovely to enter a government premise like that.
Everything is so clean. I stay in a very old format kind of a hotel. It's pick and span. ekdam sa. I don't know, it's inside them. So you cannot take this out of them. Even if their kids have studied outside, they'll come home and practice that, I presume, so it stays like that. But ऐसा नहीं है सिर्फ only that area was playing. Wherever I went.
So it's a deep imprint in the
Yes.
subconscious, huh?
Yes. The footpaths were clean, people are walking easily. There was no panwadi ka dukan either udhar. There is no vegetable seller. There are specific areas and all the roads are narrow roads. No traffic, nothing.
This Panwadi ka scene, I think Assam should see a makeshift, especially. I mean, the cities,
Sorry.
the urban cities, the Panwala thing we need to
But it's
see a shift.
equally there in Mizoram, I think. They also consume the Tamil. They have a different name to it. But I think what he mentions,
They're not spitting there out there, but we are spitting here everywhere. The population is.
Where is they eating? They're not spitting.
they're not.
Yes, that's what I meant. Okay, let's pivot to a more, a little more different scope. So we'll pick a cue from where we left. We're talking about cleanliness of different states and how virgin or pristine we are. The next question comes is, with so much of influx that we are awaiting now, how can we see sustainable development and growth so that we don't have to suffer with a lot of pollution which will come eventually, and take steps from the very initial that we stay as we are and still grow. Sustainability, any lines there?
So, I think the very concept of development and how we define development has to categorically and fundamentally include sustainability. Sustainability of environment, ecology, local communities, cultures, and inclusiveness in that very growth process. So I think that is something that should be, in my opinion, the mantra as far as when we talk about development. So developing at the cost of, destroying your nature, your natural resources, and especially in the northeastern context, the fragile, very, very, very beautiful natural ecosystem, because we are not, situated in arid regions, deserts or mountainous regions in the sense of just rocks and nothing much, barren regions. We are a very, very ecologically rich region. And I think the understanding that the ecology of the northeastern region, where we have the entire Himalayas to our north, and with the winds of the Bay of Bengal flowing in, water coming down from the Himalayas, and this huge rich fertile soil, which is either being further replenished by the rivers, Brahmaputra or any of its tributaries, is what makes the northeast a wonderland. So any development that is going to hamper into this huge asset and what I would call the USP of the region should be thought about very, very carefully. Should be thought about very, very carefully, and we should be very, very calculated with our entire vision plan of how we develop this region. I say this at a time when, even from the perspective of and context of urbanization, we are in an age where metros are developing at a very, very huge rate. We have global cities now. The global cities of today are cities that have been created largely in the last 50 to 60 years. Dubai, for that matter, Singapore is another. Doha is an emerging. Saudi Arabia is joining that race of trying to also create a huge urban metropolis to bring in global investment. In that context, we have, as some of us who are privy to, interaction with our neighbors, Bhutan. Bhutan has been a wonderful model. In fact, the model that the Northeast region as a whole should study in the way they go about their, tourism, in the way they go about their investment policies, which are very, very sensitive towards environmental norms. And this is something that we can learn from our neighbors. And now they have also come up with something very, very revolutionary from their perspective, which is creating a global city with the Galafu project. But the global city that they're creating is all about embracing nature, all about mindfulness, all about integrating urbanization and the importance of, being part of the today's digital and world economy, while at the same time celebrating nature and mindfulness. So this is something that I think as a whole region we can also look at. I think we should build synergies on lines with what their philosophies are, which are not very alien to actually what our original inner philosophies are, and go about it. So yes, we should also learn from the fact that a lot of countries that have industrialized at the expense of, let's not make the mistakes that the industrial world has made. Rather learn from their mistakes and grow from there. I think that's the way I'd correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you have?
So absolutely, I think when the subprime crisis happened for the mortgage economy of the US and the entire world collapsed, some of the economists said that because India never had a very over-commercial banking policy, we survived that kind of a disaster. So to have a similar analogy, if we can learn from our states who have overdeveloped, who have had uncontrolled tourism, where the lower end of tourism has come and spoiled the ecosystem, a lot of waste generation could not be controlled because of such tourism. This is a time when Northeast as a region and few states in particular are taking off in terms of tourism. How we can build that kind of a policy and put it in practice, enforce it. Bhutan has a daily tourism tax of 1200 rupees per day for certain locations where they try to have very restrictive tourism so that they can have the best of destinations where world over private charters come, land, and they contribute enough to the economy as per the size of that particular country. Now looking at our size of the states and the country, we can have a larger play, but follow the similar models. I think apart from that, on the industrial side, bamboo is a great bioresource, and that can give a potential development to biomass based fuels. How that could be incorporated again in our industrial parks for people who use boilers, so that they don't thrive on maybe right now we can call it illegal mechanism of coal usage. And also when we talk about sustainability or the green economy, the word sustainable has always been attached to the green economy. So I have myself had a first-hand exposure of leading this green bitumen venture for last 15 years. So having understood the nuances of how our decision makers in the government take decisions to promote green, we need to have contrasting decision making attitude and then the policy, because if the attitude is not there, you cannot build the right policy.
Right.
And then bring those construction practices in practice, which can really leave a great imprint on the country as a whole and not just the Northeast. So I think if we could take a clue on all these pointers I have tried to dwell upon, we all can do some great work for the Northeast. And there's a body which could actually help us doing this is Invest India. Now they have a Northeast region head, and they can do a beautiful work on this perspective.
Got that. So my shift would be to Rishi. So heavy is the head that wears the crown. Mr. Lassing has mentioned his points. Mr. Rajiv has mentioned his points. And now as media, to keep everything rooted, that we are holding on to the grounds. And our as media, as our objective is to bring to the highlight that needs attention and not just get carried away in the sway of things or the hype of things. What's your add-on to that?
See, it is not the prime responsibility of the government of India or Assam or the investor himself or any other allied businesses that person is investing on to maintain the harmony and sanctity of that place. You must have heard of a concept called smart cities.
Yes.
What is that? More smarter surveillances, more smarter CCTVs, more smarter bus routes and etc. EV buses coming into the picture. So, more smarter decisions taken. But for what? For surveillance. The problem is the people. The investor is one. Consumers are 1,000. If today I consume something and throw it, it's not the investor's fault. So people have to also understand. It is not the sole responsibility of the policymaker to enforce. Yes, policies have to be put in place. That's correct. That is the primary. After that, why does a country like India need a smart city concept? Because people are not conscious enough to know what damage they are doing. Some people are doing on their own little way they can. For example, I am into I have a rental space for weddings and all. So I have a ETPS attached to it so that I don't pollute the drain. That is the rule.
Right.
I can guarantee you not all wedding halls in Guwahati has that. For example, his hotel, there is a big nala in the zoo road. If you have seen that demarcates within the landowner and the road, there is usually a bridge on every side. You've seen that?
Yes.
What Larsing has done is, he has put a bamboo fencing covering the drain, the top of the drain. He knows someone will throw something.
Yes.
He takes it on him, he cleans it every day in the morning. So then nothing goes down the drain.
Yes.
Because that is his entrance.
Yes.
He has a defined road to go there. Drain बहुत नीचे है. But this is his responsibility. He have taken it as my responsibility. At least मैं ये तो साफ करके रखूँ. आगे का मैं कैसे करूँ?
Agreed.
He as a businessman or he can treat him also as an investor. He has family here, but still his roots are in Meghalaya. He is invested in a property here. He is taking all the stuff that is needed. But my consumer or his consumer comes out and throws something in the drain. What is his fault? People's mind has to grow. If they want to retain something, the originality of our state, the beauty of our state. If I own a hillock in somewhere around Assam, it's my choice. I can cut the whole hill and send the mati somewhere. Or I can come up with the eco-friendly resort. Right?
Yes.
So these decisions when people take, when they start thinking about the nature also, that's when these whole Guwahati floods that will happen, it's all artificial floods. Those people who will be crying in front of the cameras for the flood situation are the ones polluting it also. Yes, there might be 101%, there might be some government leakages here and there, drain might or not have been made in the scientific manner, किसी का level ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है. But drain में सामान भी तो हम ही डाल रहे हैं ना.
Yes.
If Assam has a population of 3.5 crore people, how do you expect the municipality to clean each and every drain polluted by 3.5 crore people?
And we can't live without having open drains because of the amount of rainfall we have.
Yes. So people also have to be conscious. It's not only on the government, on the policymakers. Yes, industrial policies, he have rightly pointed out. That's correct. But these are basic things which I see on the road. That's why I mentioned.
Yeah, true.
Noted.
So the other day there was a reel I was seeing on the YouTube that the Japan drains are so clean. It's just a dream for us, but nonetheless we should speak about it. That the drains are so clean that ornamental fishes are left in the drain and people can view, the water is so clean. So I'm sure now that we have discussed, it is going to pop in some other mobile. But yes, this is a fact which I have seen. And in fact, I saw it twice. That is just a prank video, it's actually happening.
Right.
And they said this is how Japan keeps their drain, that ornamental fishes are then left and they kind of move in the drains.
It's because the people also, Japanese people are so courteous.
So courteous.
They're so courteous. Yes. They clean up the stadiums after the match is over.
Superb culture.
It's part of the education system as well.
Yes, it's imbibed in there.
And we are closer to them. Why not learn from them?
Yes.
Then from the West.
They don't have dustbins. Every car will have a small bag where you need to put all the trash. There is no public dustbin that we have seen when we went there.
But speaking about the West, I mean, you have to give it to them. Paris was a mess 50 years back.
Yes. Okay.
The sewers of Paris were like the most famous sewers of Europe. But they went through an entire reconstruction process and then created the Paris of today. The Thames, London, had the same problem with the river. But they rejuvenated it. And rejuvenation of rivers in Seoul and in Tokyo is also a recent phenomena. So from that perspective, hopefully
We will
don't
also
also follow the same thing.
Yes.
Back home there.
And I saw an Instagram post somewhere, a billionaire in Amazon has bought a forest, a huge space of land, not to do anything there, but just to leave it out like that there and to just make it a part of the environment and leave it untouched.
Had that money. When you say
And the same
Amazon,
intent.
the only trending is the city of Venice that he's hired
That's for the wedding.
just for the wedding.
Yes. All right. So we want to move to marketing spaces and brands. Any questions for me before that or after that?
So I can ask you before that.
Sure.
So Dipeeka, my question that I also posted you on the phone, that now that you have done few podcasts and you have been witness to some conversations, what do you feel is the common underlying discussion pointers when people come and discuss about Northeast, discuss about Assam, discuss about Meghalaya, because they come from different backgrounds. Not everyone is an entrepreneur. So what have you noticed?
I have noticed contentment of belonging here. Everybody has been deeply rooted here, an entrepreneur or a coach or a person from a government body, from again another real estate background, and or from another media house. They are content here. So it gives me a feeling that maybe we don't want to look out so much outside. We are content with ourselves. We are happy what we are doing. Maybe we need pace, yes. Maybe we need more support, yes. But at the end of the day, it's we who are creating ourselves. And if we need to take the plunge in no matter what policies come in, what policies go out, which MoUs get converted when, every person from the Northeast region, if I may say so, or the 8 states, takes their day as it is, as their responsibility it is, from the morning till the end, then I think we are in the best space, and we are a part of India. We are contributing so much, and yet still so pristine. Numbers may speak otherwise. Things may speak otherwise. Media may take some responsibilities likewise in the other parts of the region, and we may know different stories here. And nevertheless, everybody had a common thread, and that is we are from here, and now maybe we will do our conversations. You want to hear it, you hear it. You don't want to hear it, then also we are taken care of.
Super.
Moving to marketing branding, I think we don't see any big brands from here who's grown. Probably I may be wrong, but more or less as we see, why is it so? Is it that we don't have the capabilities or the resources or the technology that it requires, or is it that our products cannot be marketed well, or is it that we can't make good products? Why is there, can we have a big brand from the Northeast, any of the states, voice out, stand out, be out there, so that the media knows it, the marketing and the branding world knows it, of course backed by investors, by startups, policies, everything.
So largely Northeast has been a consumption economy. We have not been great producers. So the aspirations have recently come to the surface with a lot of startups now designing their business plans for pan-India and even for global markets. And I have myself witnessed few of them when I was leading the startup committee in FINER earlier, that they may not have a business background, they may be first generation entrepreneurs, but they talk about the macro numbers of India, they talk about the global numbers. We have never discussed like that our businesses till maybe 5 years or a decade back, that who talks about this is the tourism number of India, this is the tourism number of Assam, this is the tourism number of Northeast, and then this is our share. Those graphs are just seen on an economic times for ages. So I think for me personally, there's been a lot of learning on how we could take our businesses pan-India.
Right.
And I would love to hear what Rishi has to say, because he has been in the media world and he comes across a lot of brands.
I've met a couple of brand owners in Calcutta. So there's a biscuit company, there's some TMT bars. It's not that we don't have biscuit companies here, neither it's not like that we don't have TMT bars. Earlier, the issue was the transportation cost. For example, I print newspapers. My newsprint come from Punjab, Rajasthan, etc. Because of the viability of their production, they can break even that cost and leave it to me landing in Guwahati. But still, the newsprint cost are way higher. It has come down post-COVID, no doubt, but it is still high.
Right.
For example, I sell my newspaper at 10 rupees for a 14-pager. For a 42-pager Times of India, you'll pay 5 rupees in there.
Right. Hence the cost.
Hence the cost. Now, because of tech, for example, Amazon, Flipkart, you can sell a lot of products online, not institutional buying products, the consumer products. For example, if you have a fashion label, if you have a tea product, you can sell it online. The transportation cost is there, the marketing cost has gone down. If I am a TPB, for example, there's a Vola guy who's doing well because he got featured with Shark Tank. There's a lady, I forgot the brand name, she has a clothing brand.
Yes, she has an apparel brand.
Yeah.
She got appeared in Shark.
She also appeared in Shark Tank. So, the number of people getting featured in Shark Tank itself shows that there is an intent to go outside and do business there. Take the products from here and sell it there.
Okay.
There's an intent. People are fighting. But to our naked eyes, we cannot see anything substantial happening, right? Maybe a lot of new age entrepreneurs are working as we speak. Maybe they are working, maybe another 5 years we'll see some brands coming up. At the same time, there's a company called Vantage Circle. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of that.
They're doing fantastic.
Yes, they are.
Globally.
Globally.
Into employee related.
Staying in Assam.
Yes.
Doing fantastic
Tech.
business. Tech. So wherever the transportation cost is not the thing.
Like a Zoho, from a villagers coming out.
You cannot help it. No? You cannot shift Assam to Rajasthan or central of India, right?
But
so, jo hai wohi hai.
I have a point here.
Yeah.
Once you speak, I'll...
No, once if the connectivity of the rail improves, and it now, since it's going up to Mizoram, I think northeastern entrepreneurs who are selling consumer products, as Nee has said previously, we should rather focus on the northeast and Southeast Asian countries.
Export it out.
Yes, that will make more sense, provided
Yes.
the sea infrastructure is correct, the rail infrastructure is correct. They have heard many things that it'll stretch up to Myanmar and Bangladesh. Then again, as I spoke earlier, there is a coup everywhere happening. Even if there is a railway track across Myanmar, in between the coup, how do you do the business? There's uncertainty.
There's a high
Even if there is a extended train line beyond Bangladesh, how do you do business there? So these uncertainties will obviously stay, but I think Southeast Asian countries are more easier to penetrate right now, provided the government infrastructure is put into place correctly, and also slowly and steadily brands are being made.
Right.
We are hopeful Ming will come with something in Bombay Marine Drive, for Bombay address.
That we want to go to the Marine Drive. Mumbai address. Or Singapore address is better.
That's a good aspiration.
Is his Singapore address or KL address much better?
Is there any more space?
They're claiming a lot of the bay.
No wonder Adanis and Ambanis are coming here.
Something that we don't know about that's happening. But from what we understand,
Everyone has the intent, but the cost of going out is also very high.
You opened a Pandora's box for me, but if you want to go first.
Yes, so if you just divide the larger business in 3 silos of trade, which is backed on supply chain, and manufacturing, where you look at both the value addition as well as the logistics, and then the services. And Wanted Circle has come as a great example from Rishi of, doing business beyond borders and beyond boundaries, whether it's pan-India. So there's another of our finer member, Mr. Biswajit Hazarika. He leads a Transvirtual. It's now a 3-digit crores turnover company and doing great work across India in the IT sector. So yes, IT sector has that advantage of moving throughout the globe, being based even in Mizoram or Nagaland. So maybe some digital infrastructure support is needed, which by far is being served in Assam.
Yes.
And maybe it will happen sooner in the other states of the Northeast. But on the manufacturing side, largely the intent also of going to the source of raw material and doing something pan-India was missing in the businesses. That is, my raw material is coming, say, from Delhi, and I know that the larger raw material supply is from Delhi. Nobody has really gone and set up a shop in Delhi to cater to the pan-India market. They've been reserved to the location that they've been trying to serve in the Northeast. So that is, I think, slightly changing in the last 10 years. Even we have tried to humbly start doing it in the green bitumen venture. It's called Bitchem. And it's very challenging. It burns cash. Families get upset because we don't come from the startup culture. So we don't have those investors who can allow it to burn cash. So it's very, very tightly bootstrapped. And then you see the opportunities in other businesses, in other sectors in the Northeast, where you generate cash. So it's a big dilemma when you are pushing that kind of a dream to go and become a pan-India brand, being from Assam. But I'm sure there are great brands that are going to come out in the next few years, as Rishi highlights, and I would love to hear Ming.
So I think the investment ecosystem is also opening up now, much more than earlier. Transportation has also improved. I remember 15 years back, bringing anything from Delhi would take at least a week to 10 days. Nowadays, in 3-4 days, even by road, things arrive. By rail, even faster. So that is also opened up. The other thing is from a marketing perspective. Earlier you were dependent on the conventional medium of, either, a newspaper or this thing. Now you can broadcast yourselves through your own digital handles. So that is also, helping small or medium level entrepreneurs the opportunity to actually go out into the market. Other thing is that, exotic is also becoming cool. Natural is also becoming cool. So this is an area where I think a lot of micro brands have started opening up. Maybe over time, hopefully something clicks. Definitely it involves a lot of entrepreneurial spirit, and hopefully over time that goes. Having said that, I'd like to mention a particular brand that was opened, we was just started about 2 years, 1.5 years or so. It's a gin company called Cherrapunji Gin.
Oh yeah, we love the bottle.
You may have seen that.
The branding is superb.
It's totally based on botanicals from the different parts of the northeast. Rainwater from Ram. So in that way it has something unique, because it's actually a gin bottle whereas water which is being harvested from the
Rainwater.
From rainwater, the world's heaviest rainfall area. And botanicals from across the northeast. You'd be surprised to know there is the highest selling brand in the duty frees today.
Wow.
So therefore,
And the branding is
the branding is excellent.
copper bottle.
That's something global. Right?
It's a copper bottle.
The branding is excellent. The founder is a person called Mayuk Hazarika, born and brought up in Shillong. IIM Lucknow, went through corporate, was working with Pepsi, Samsung. And if you remember Vistara those days, there was an ad where these air hostesses were, teaching you, will give you these instructions from Dauki, Kerala and all over. Here
The TV. Yes. Oh.
So that way, there are good marketing minds now coming back to the northeast, coming up with interesting concepts. And the interesting thing about this ecosystem is that we've got a cluster of investors which are again global. So you've got some of the lead investors from, really, really seasoned entrepreneurs of investors of the country, people based everywhere. So this whole marketing ecosystem is also opening up now. So hopefully over time we get to see certain such brands also scale up. So that is one as far as local brands making it out. The other is, again, I mean, I might sound a little distinct, but Northeast having a huge opportunity in tourism. We just the other day, in fact, it was hardly a week back, I watched a podcast. Mukesh Bansal is interviewing Amitabh Kant. Now, Amitabh Kant was actually relaying his story. He's what was Amitabh Kant's first real breakthrough before we know him as Chairman Niti Aayog and of course the Sherpa to the G20, was that he was Secretary of Tourism to in Kerala. And he's the one who revolutionized Kerala tourism with the slogan "God's own country."
Back in, I think, 90s.
In the early 90s, late 90s. So he's the one who created that slogan. Otherwise, Kerala was really not really in the tourism market. So he created this slogan called "God's own country," and if we all remember, that is a tagline that just went all over.
Yes.
And that's how Kerala tourism was revolutionized. So I think these are areas where, maybe time has come, and I'm sure it will happen, that even in the Northeast, there will be many, many brands that will hopefully, gain traction, especially with this era of disruption.
Yes.
We are in the era of disruption, so it's no longer, the rules and the narratives of general commercial discourse also changing. You can be your own branding, you can brand yourself, you can broadcast yourself, and you can go to the market for yourself. Right. And you can sell yourself. You can be your own Amazon today. So that's why this gives us the opportunity, hopefully, of seeing some good stories in the future. I'm being optimistic, but I believe that there's a genuine reason that things will happen.
If I may add to this, it will differ slightly. Being working as a first-hand experience with MSMEs from Pan India and even from Northeast. So that brings me back to my professional grounds of thriving now as a performance marketing, from where we started as a social media marketing. Today, when I talk to clients or my partners, when we take review meetings, and we specifically have to ask them if they are especially in the industrial or B2B area. So do we have to include the 7 states? And do we have to include Kashmir? And they would be like, no, leave the 7 states out, leave Kashmir out. Because the transportation is too high, we can't sell our stuff there. Likewise, even if it's an e-commerce brand, no, we don't want to ship to the northeast. The return costs are too high. And that's a reality. And this side of a table, a person in Meghalaya is a very good entrepreneur, is building up a resort. She doesn't know how to market it. A brand in Guwahati, buckles up when it sees a national brand or an international brand has occupied its territory. Oh my God, I don't have a website. Oh my God, I don't have a presence. Why so late? Tech is with us. Tech is something that doesn't require transportation or any other advantages that we have. And hence there is a gap among investors, among entrepreneurs, MSMEs, SMEs, micro sectors, and a lot of work is happening at skill development level, where we are training a lot of people to digitize businesses, digitize their presence. And I think we are not less than 5 to 10 years behind Mumbai. It would be my take and opinion on a periphery level of working in these grounds for last 15 years. And I would really love to see a makeshift there. That why gear up into media and marketing only when we see a threat of an international brand coming in.
Correct.
To that extent, the hospitality, the way it markets and the way a multi-level chain, a Holiday Inn or a Taj or a Novotel or a would market or a brand and spend on marketing is very different from how a hospitality chain inside of the Northeast thinks. That has to shift. Not difficult. It's in fact the easiest, because technologies can be one of our very good strengths, and I believe some of the best tech people work from the Northeast.
Correct. True.
And the SEO specialists are from Mangaldoy. There are teams thriving on hybrid models from anywhere in smaller rural villages with the penetration of IT, Wi-Fi, electricity. And that's a huge advantage I think we can tap.
I'll tell you a short story. What happened was, when we were making our channel new building in EILC, and 3-4 odd years back. So a channel requires a lot of technical integration and a lot of technical nitty-gritties. For example, this AC. It cannot be this AC. It is a different kind of AC. It has to be attached to certain things. The server is different. There are a lot of different things which you don't find on. So you have to go to a channel integrator. He integrates everything for you, brings it in a platter, then cross-check the prices. It's kind of a turnkey thing. So this guy was an Assamese. He was working with a very big brand based out of Delhi when we were operating out of the old office. So we called him. He said, I've started my own thing. I can do it. We know he had the potential, because our whole point of contact in 5 years of operation from that office was only this one person. He solved it, everything for us. So we gave the whole contract to him. Then he told me that, what about the studios? I said, yeah, we'll design. We are talking to few people. Well, I have a guy. He can do it. Well, okay. Who's this guy? His name is Joffrey. He stays in Goa. बोले कहाँ वो आएगा जाएगा उसी में आधा पैसा चले जाएगा. बोले कि no, he'll do it remote. बोले okay. We had a couple of meetings. He gave a lot of presentations online, and we zeroed out कि ठीक है, we'll go ahead with it. Only once he came down to see the studio. Only once. Prior to the launch from this building, he came only once. Everything fell into place. He is from Manipur, settled in Goa, doing a project for Assam.
True Indian, huh?
I get that. I hear you.
So that's how people have used technology.
Yes.
So he got his leisure peace of mind staying in Goa, working out of Goa. He made enough money from us doing a project in Assam. He just had to pay one visit. He does that visit and find, and not even once we had to complain, ki boss, you're not there. Kya ho raha hai? No, not even once. He fixed the contractors. He approved of all the materials, of the colors and everything. We leave it to him and he did a fantastic job.
This opens up new spaces where is my future discovery, maybe we'll cut it out, is into robotics in medical. It's seeing a huge shift.
Yeah.
That is also a new area. I think there's a lot more to converse about. If we were to conclude, if we are at home with where we are, any closing lines? I think that's the best question. What does home mean to you now?
For me, after a mentally stressful day, we don't do physical labor, it's usually mental labor. So it's my wife, my kids. Period. Usually I switch off my phone around 8:30. I'm done. Only few people know how to reach me. Agar emergency hoga, they'll reach me. So my home is where my family is.
Got that.
Bas.
For both of you?
So my time, for that matter, or being at home means then I can be in front of my desk, in front of my monitor and do my research. I love researching. So I love connecting to people. So in my own time, I do that. I love having that as my time.
Got that. I would have meant more with the respect to the Northeast region as a whole. If you could rephrase and paraphrase again and bring it up to that context.
Let's hear from him. we learn from there. We learn from what Ning has to speak.
No, yeah, I was also getting quite comfortable with that concept of, the retiring every evening as home. But yeah, the home, what is home? What is the question again?
Home in perspective of Northeast.
Yeah, what does home mean to you now? We all are from the Northeast.
So I think home for me, there is an emotion attached to it. I think there's a emotion attached to your place of residence, for the obvious reason that that's where you're either living with your parents or your family, your immediate family, your wife, your kids, for everyone. And there is an emotional attachment to that. And similarly, I think there's a huge attachment when you say that, you live in this beautiful part of the country. And genuinely, I'm personally very happy that we've been blessed to live here. And while this region has seen its setbacks in terms of socio-political uncertainty, we've all grown up to that. We've seen the uncertainties of what can happen as well. We've gone through all the civil unrest, insurgency, buns, hartals, and name it what. I think each and every one of us has a story and a history in that, because we belong to that era as during our childhood. But I think the home of today is really a home of great expectations. I think India as a country is now in a different era, and Northeast in that perspective has also emerged from that earlier point of being a frontier region that we talked about to a home of great opportunity and opportunity and an opportunity to create something and be part of something which is hopefully going to be positive, different, and something that we can all enjoy. So I look at home, the Northeast, as being really a warm place that it is, a vibrant place that it is. And look forward to spending many, many more years at home.
Would you like to add to that?
In that context, home for me is God.
Is Guwahati.
It has all my attention, all my love. I might overlook some uncertainty happening in Guwahati because I really love the city. I've seen it grow from the rapid urbanization to the flyovers and everything. I've seen it. In fact, my first school was where his hotel is right now.
All right.
So it's a very beautiful city. I think so. Means Bombay, Delhi is a city. This Guwahati has some love in the city. It has some story. It has. You'll see a lot of smaller shops also selling things with a lot of love. For example, there's a Ashok's sweet shop. You know that?
Yes.
उनका रसगुल्ला बहुत ज़्यादा famous है. It's a small shop, na? They're doing very well.
Yes.
There are a lot of small brands who are doing really well. There is a love in the city.
Yes.
You enter Delhi, you see only the national brands there. उनका खुद का क्या है? हमारा खुद का कितना कुछ है? Look at this, it's a homegrown brand. Homegrown brand.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So when there's a homegrown brand, unless वो corporates के हाथ में नहीं चला जाता है, तब तक वो एक warmth के साथ बेचता है जो भी बेचता है. Once angel investor comes in and all over India we'll have branches, that essence of love and warmth goes up.
Only numbers matter.
Only numbers matter. EBITDA कितना है?
Shark Tank, another episode. Have you seen the ads?
So that's why I think it has a lot of love because there are some quality products here and everyone is selling with a lot of warmth and passion. You know, there's a bar which Ming is made at the Shillong address. You've been to Shillong address?
Yeah, Short Sky.
Yeah.
Has not been. Who has not been?
It's a very beautiful bar. There's a menu where they have made some cocktails on Seven Sisters.
Yeah.
So there's I don't know the ingredients. So there's a Manipur-based cocktail which is using ingredients from Manipur. There's some bhoot joleke infused something. That's an Assam cocktail. So like that, he's beautifully integrated all the 7-8 sisters into one menu, right? Am I right?
That's right.
So there's a taster menu also. Obviously, you're looking at the names you won't know.
Yeah.
Cat Tiger. So there's a taster menu where you can taste it and then you can order whatever.
I am missing Rachit right now. And I must mention the Mystic Assam menu to add to that. Just have a look at it. The illustrations that they have designed. And it's the entire cocktail lineup has been done from how we begin our day and we end our day in the culinary journey. We start with lal cha and we end with a pan or a tamul. And in between there is a pomelo salad, there is a pitika related lunch, and then evening there's another snack. And they have curated the drinks based on this entire what a local Assamese eats in a village. And it's beautiful. And then I see that there is a national brand which showcases menus from across the nation, that they are beautiful menus. And he happens to show other menus of the country. I get a little attached with the home, you know, as a concept and as what we are. He showcases all the pages of inside the menu. And then he says there are other menus from other states, and one of them is from the Bengal and one is from Assam, being the Mystic Assam. I was like, why did he not open the page? What is it? Is it again one of these stigmas that he chose to leave it out and pick up something that talks about a cosmopolitan way of presenting it, or he's talking more about international people when he's opening the menu card? This has to shift. And yes, we are doing a lot of artisanal kind of work in the Northeast, like you also mentioned to me over another conversation. How we work is very hard. And I think we need to see the light of that true branding the true asset. And yes, make it premium. Let's make it premium. Sell it like Bhutan. Why not? I think I'm good here too. And I think that was my context of home. And if you would add any notes to that.
So I've been pondering how to answer this, but being in a joint family, 3 brothers, for me, home is when I can have all my vulnerable discussions with my brothers and without judging each other. And we are kind of achieved that. And it's really been a great comfort at home. So I think that for me is real home. And we can do it in Gangtok, sitting there in a hotel, or a weekend over a session for our work, or it could be in our residence in a drawing room where 3 of us are locked together and we can discuss all our inhibitions and all our apprehensions and be as vulnerable as possible. I think that's what currently comes to my mind.
Super. That's how family businesses will grow.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
And that's the need of the hour.
Yes.
Are we good to end here?
Yeah. Yes.
Superb. Great conversations.
Thank you.
All right. So what you've heard today isn't just a conversation. It's a reflection of what happens when people speak not just about their work, but about their why. From navigating visibility to owning identity, from rewriting myths to reimagining futures, this roundtable was a reminder that the Northeast is no longer waiting to be invited. It's arriving on its own terms. To every guest at this table, thank you for bringing life, your fire, your honesty, your vision. And to everyone listening in this episode, if this episode made you think, feel, or hope, share it, talk about it, and build with it. This is Dialogue with Dipeeka. Until next time, keep listening for what's real, what's rising, and what's worth remembering. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This
Thank you.
so much.